Hello and welcome to Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC.
A weekly podcast and YouTube channel where we discuss all things Wrexham.
So sit back, put your feet up, relax and let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to episode 155 of Me, the Wife and Wrexham AFC. Another day, another dollar, another week, another... No, there was a rhyme. I thought there was a rhyme there. There wasn't, was there? No. Okay.
Absolutely not.
Look, coming up on this week's show, we'll talk about the fixture release. That was very exciting this week. The season finale of Welcome to Wrexham. We're going to say au revoir to... might just be au revoir, might be goodbye, we don't know, to Paul Mullin. A look at two more championship teams, another transfer rumour, and the quiz. I am already melting in the studio.
I roll my eyes when you say quiz.
Yeah, I know, I bet you do. I am melting in here. It is so hot. It's just... the shirt I've got on this week is the 2004-2005 shirt. I tell you what, how players used to cope with shirts 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's so thick. The shirt is so thick compared to shirts now, which have all these all this cooling technology in them to keep the players nice and cool during games. This just isn't. It's like wearing a sack. It is boiling. I do.
Maybe that's why we did so badly.
When? Oh, back in the day.
Back in the day.
No. Well, this year, we won the LDV Vans Trophy. This is when we won at Wembley. So yeah. So they didn't do too badly.
Didn't promote though, did they?
Didn't get promoted. No,
so that's pretty bad, really, isn't
it?
No.
All right, okay, fair enough.
Anyway, we're doing great now, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, it is. So let's talk about fixtures, shall we? So they came out.
They did
this week.
They did. All very exciting. We had a countdown on in work.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was. It felt like the season's on its way. Because we've had all of this, no football, nothing's going on,
so dumb.
No kit coming out. A little bit, just put a pin in the fixtures for a second. Just something about the kit. So there is, so there's going to be a kit reveal. So that's coming.
Don't spoil it though.
No, I'm not going to spoil it. And
we know, we've got inside info.
Yeah. So there's going to be, there was a plan last week. They were filming something to reveal the new kit, and can't say what it was, but there was a special song playing, and there was a reveal, very similar to a Superman sort of reveal, that sort of thing. But I'm not saying what it is or what. Yeah, anyway, blah blah blah.
Let's just brush over that bit.
Yeah, okay. But unfortunately, the kits didn't arrive, so they weren't able to film them. I'm assuming that's a Macron issue and not a club issue. But yeah, there we go. But so that's something that's coming. That's quite exciting. I'm assuming they're still going ahead with that, even though they weren't able to do it. Film it when they so I think the kit reveal's close, but at the moment we don't.
So the kits are ready.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah,
they are ready. Yeah. They just didn't arrive when they were supposed to arrive
in time
week.
To do the filming for the reveal of the new kit.
It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so we'll look forward to that. So the fixture release. So they came out on Thursday, the 26th, last week.
Yeah.
12 o'clock. Usually they come out at 9 o'clock in the morning, but for some reason, I don't know whether it's a championship thing. Because last season they came out at 9 o'clock.
No, it was the whole of the EFL came out at that time.
Well, last year they came out at 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. Well,
but anyway, it doesn't matter. So the first game of the season is away, and it's probably the furthest place away it could be. So it's on the 9th of August on Saturday. It's at 12:30. It's a 12:30 kickoff, and it's in sunny Southampton.
It is. Already booked the hotel without telling Siân. Just did it. Fingers crossed we can actually get a ticket for it. I had a bit of a Nostradamus moment a few weeks ago. I said to you, we will not play at 3:00 on Saturday. Tick, correct. We will play one of the relegated Premier League teams. Tick, correct. And we will be away. Tick, correct. So I predicted all of that. I don't think it was that difficult to predict any of it. I'm not claiming that it was some wild guess. I think that was the nailed on obvious choice of what was going to happen. So if anybody doesn't know about the fixtures, they are semi-random. So they start working on them in January. So they're automated by like a supercomputer. And then there's like a panel who sit down and they go through each fixture and go, like, for example, Southampton, Portsmouth, if they were going to put that, because that's obviously, a South Coast derby, if they were going to, and they go, right, we're going to move that one, we're going to put that one on as like so they do move fixtures around. It's not completely random.
And then Sky get in and completely change it again.
Yeah, and there's that sort of stuff. they liaise with Sky and see what games they want to show and all that sort of stuff. So it's semi-random, but not completely random. And the opening day of the season is not random at all, I don't think. Maybe one or two of them are random, but there are specific fixtures that are going to be put in. Birmingham's fixture's been moved as well. I'm sure they're playing Ipswich, I think. Again, promoted team playing a relegated Premier League team. It was obvious. It was on the cards. That's what they were going to do.
Are they home or away?
I can't remember. I'm sorry. I can't. But there's a few of the key fixtures to go through. Obviously, Southampton's the main one to focus on straight away. And as I say, we booked a hotel for that one. We have booked, whatever. And I think we're going to get about, I had a little bit of a look into it. It's about a 3,000 allocation, I think, which is pretty good. But, we'll have to wait and see on that one. A few key ones. Boxing Day is going to be Sheffield United at home.
I'm so glad we're at home for Boxing Day.
Yeah.
So happy. Last year we were at home for Boxing Day. The year before we weren't.
No.
They were away at Swindon, weren't they? And I think it just makes Christmas.
It does. I do like it at home.
My bubble just snapped.
Oh, there we go. Final day is Middlesbrough at home, and that'll be a 12:30 kickoff. New Year's Day's Blackburn away. So we've got Boxing Day at home, but we've got New Year's Day away.
It's not far away, so it's good.
Yes, there is that. Yeah, it's only down the road. First 5 fixtures. So Southampton away, West Brom at home, Sheffield Wednesday at home, Millwall away, and then QPR at home. I did this thing, right, where I went, I sort of looked through the fixtures and I went, where's the, you sort of look for periods of games, don't you, where you go, okay, that's a nice little period of games we've got there. Okay, that's a tough month, more away than home against some decent teams. That's tough. I looked at it about 3 or 4 times. Where's the easy period in it? Now when we're not playing at all.
Yeah.
There is no...
The build-up is...
The little easy stretch of 5 games where you go, yeah, we're not... we're going to get, between 10 and 15 points from that little spell there. I mean, it's just not there, is it?
Might be.
It might be.
You don't know. Football is a very unpredictable thing.
On paper, looking at it.
Oh yeah, on paper we're screwed.
Absolutely not there at all.
Yeah.
And it was just like, but I've been really excited since Thursday because it became real, didn't it, on Thursday, where you're sort of looking and going, oh, it's coming. It's on the you can see it. You're coming over the brow of the hill, and it's just there. The new season is almost upon us. It's not almost upon us, I suppose. It starts in August, and we're not even in July yet. But
Well, we will be tomorrow. It's the 1st of July tomorrow.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Yeah, you're right. But so we do have over a month to wait. But it's in sight. I think it's in the distance, isn't it? And you can just about make it out.
Little pin of light.
Yes, and I'm really excited. We always go away at Christmas as well. So as a family, the wife and Wrexham AFC Christmas trip.
Famalam.
Yeah, I like to call it. And we always go to the last away game before Christmas and make that like our Christmas trip. So last season, for example, it was Bristol. We went to Bristol, took our son to Bristol. We had a really good time in Bristol. Not so much at the game, but yeah, so this year's me, the wife, and Wrexham AFC Christmas trip is going to be in Swansea. So that will be Swansea away, Welsh derby. Yeah, I don't think it could have got much bigger for our Christmas trip.
Does anything happen down in Swansea at Christmas time?
I'm sure they will.
Do they have markets and things?
Little Christmas markets. I'm sure they'll be. Yeah, they must.
It's a big city, isn't it? So
yeah, it is. So I'm really excited.
Got some
for
family
that.
down there as well. Down South Wales.
Yeah, definitely. So check in with them on the way down. And last thing to sort of mention about the fixtures, the Carabao Cup has also been drawn. We've been drawn at home to Hull City, and that'll be on. Originally, it said the week commencing the 11th of August. It seems to have been confirmed for the 12th of August now. So yeah.
What, our game's on the 12th of August?
Yeah. So that's been. It looks like it's been confirmed for the 12th of August because you can actually go to the Wrexham AFC website. If you go and visit their X page as well, you can actually click a link to download all of the fixtures to your calendar. So I've done it on my phone, Sean's done it. And the fixture just against Hull has gone in on the 12th of August. So that looks like that's confirmed for them. So, yeah, excited. Sean put a post out on X saying, which fixtures are you most looking forward to?
I did that.
Yeah, Eric said making plans to be at Loftus Road right now. Yes, Eric, I think that's one I'm really excited about. QPR away. I don't know why. I was talking to somebody else and they said, oh, I can't wait to go to QPR. It's weird. It's not the biggest ground, but I don't know what it is about it. I'm just excited to go to QPR.
I remember QPR growing up. It was always, QPR.
Yeah.
3-0 on the old. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I do.
Saturday evening, or Saturday about 5 o'clock. They did all the because I don't think back in the day they only had 3 o'clock games, didn't they? I don't think they had.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, until Sky sort of took over and they started to protect that.
So at 5 o'clock they had this guy, and it was just like all the scores coming up. It was like, yeah, that's our childhood.
Yeah, definitely. JB said Swansea City at home. Rick, Birmingham rematch. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about playing Birmingham again. It's weird. I think when you go into a new season, when you've been promoted, I think there's a part of you that just wants to play a load of new teams and not necessarily the teams
that you are going to play.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Somebody, aren't you?
Yeah, so excited for that.
Rex Habs 11:26 and 11:29, as it will be my very first time in Wrexham. Is that the 26th of November?
It is, yeah. 26th of November and the 29th of November. First time in Wrexham. Give us a shout. We'll have a beer.
Give us a shout.
I think they are Bristol City and Blackburn Rovers at home, I think.
Well, Boxing Day, yeah, so...
It's not Boxing Day. It's in November.
It's confusing me.
Boxing Day's in December.
Yes, I know. Darling. It's confusing me.
We're looking forward to the away games in London region, as my husband and I will likely attend those games. Especially look forward to seeing them play Charlton.
I would like to go back to Charlton. I mean, if obviously, like with the Coventry thing, if we have to choose Coventry over a stadium that we've not been to before, or a team that we've not seen play away before, then obviously we're going to go for that. But I love Charlton.
When you switched to Coventry, then?
No, I said like Coventry.
Oh, right,
I said
I
last
get you.
week, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, It will. We'd love to go to every single game, but unfortunately, that's not possible for us. But there's loads. I got so excited looking at the fixtures because, like I say, it just made it real. The Messy Coder said, I asked my brother-in-law if he would like to come to the Millwall away game with me. He said sure, but asked if we would be sitting in the Millwall end. Do I need new family members? Yes. Yes, ultimately you do. Yes. So we're going to talk about a transfer rumour. Obviously, there are... It's a bit of a lottery at the moment because there's certain stuff we know and a lot of stuff that we don't. And, we just sort of sit and pray that they don't announce something prior to the podcast coming out, because otherwise it's sort of like, it's a bit rubbish that they've announced that after we've recorded, before it's come out, and we haven't mentioned it and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's a bit of a roll of the dice for us at the moment. But one transfer rumour I wanted to mention this week, it has been mentioned by quite a few media outlets, shall we say. Some of them not reputable at all and not trustworthy at all. But
are any newspapers trustworthy?
Not newspapers, no. Media outlets, let's say. So you tell you're born in the 80s when you're talking about newspapers. Media there's very little of the media is newspapers anymore. But
all right,
some. Yeah, like I say, some very trustworthy, some not so trustworthy, shall we say. But Stuart Armstrong's come up a lot. So he's a midfielder, 33 years old. He's a Scottish international. We're
living the Scots at the minute, aren't we?
With 53 caps. It's only just been released by Sheffield Wednesday. He only made 11 appearances for them last season. Previously played for Dundee United, Celtic, Southampton, and a brief spell at Vancouver Whitecaps. I think he only played 6 games for them, but yeah, he was there before he came back and signed for Sheffield Wednesday. 149 appearances in the Premier League, 53 in the Championship in his career. He's got a law degree as well.
And who says footballers are stupid?
I know. So he started to study for a law degree in something like 2014 with the Open University. Might have been earlier than that. And yeah, he graduated. He's got a law degree, so well done. But yeah, so that's just another name to throw into the pot. Didn't play a lot last season. I think he played probably the most of his games for Southampton. So he started at Dundee United, played a lot of games for them, then went to Celtic in the Scottish Premiership, and then from there went to Southampton, played in the Premier League and the Championship with them, off to Vancouver for a season, then back with Sheffield Wednesday, who've now released him. So, look, it's an interesting one. It sort of came a little bit out of left field, this one. I know we're going to start getting linked with a lot of midfielders.
Sure, he didn't come in midfield. Came a bit out of midfield.
Yes, it did came a bit out of midfield, yes. Oh, God. So we're just going to get linked with a lot of midfielders at the moment because everyone was aware we needed a striker. We've got the striker. So, we'd noticed before there was a lot of rumours circulating about linking us with strikers. That sort of died down now because we've bought a striker. So
let's move on to the next.
Everyone's looking at our team going, they do really need a midfielder. So everything is now linked around midfielders that we're getting, that we're getting pushed into the mix with anyone that becomes a free agent. But yeah, Stuart Armstrong is one a decent enough player. Don't think over the last few years he's played enough. But 33, not exactly old in football in terms, but is definitely coming towards the end of his career compared to a lot of others. I think one thing a lot of fans need to understand is that if you want to go out and you want to sign a really good 24, 25-year-old at this level, who is...
Money.
First thing is they're going to be in contract. Nobody is letting these slide out, for free and releasing them for the club. If they're good and they're really good, they're going to cost millions. So we are doing very well financially at the moment, but I don't think we're in a position where we're going to go out and we're going to spend millions and millions and millions. So these are the sort of players that we are going to go after, and we are going to get linked with time and time again. So we just need to deal with that. But we do, though.
Just need to deal with it.
Should we talk about Paul?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a blow, to be honest. Obviously, I think a lot of fans knew that it was coming, not necessarily to Wigan, but I think fans knew that he was going. Obviously, he's still in contract, so he's gone out on loan. He's gone out on loan to Wigan. Kind of him being at the Wigan away game sort of now fits.
It always seemed a bit weird, didn't it, at the time? And it was in the documentary, and I think there was a guy on there, fan, who'd said, I've seen ex-players come back. We've seen Gary Bennett in the crowd. We've seen Mickey Thomas in the crowd, at games before, obviously ex-players. But the guy said, I've never seen a current player sitting in the crowd with the fans at a game. And, probably right. It felt weird at the time that he was there, but now you look back, you do start to wonder
when were the talks? When did they start?
Yeah, did they have a little bit of a, shall we call it, a soft conversation at that time? Is that why he was there? And yeah, you do sort of wonder a little bit whether that was the reason he was there. Yes, he wanted to show support for the team, but was there something else going on at the time? I just don't know. We're not going to dwell too much on this. We did spend a bit of time on it on last week's show, because we pretty much knew it was going to happen. How do you think Parky's handled this whole situation? Because there's two sort of avenues of thought on this, isn't there? Where he's handled it, he's handled it well. The guy's not in form. He hasn't bowed to peer pressure from people to sort of just stick him in, because people are looking back through rose-tinted glasses. There's that sort of avenue. Or there's the avenue where people are going, he's handled it really badly. He could have, Paul it looked really sad that Parky didn't trust him anymore. And Parky's really mismanaged this and mishandled it, and he could have done better. What side of the fence do you sort of fall on this?
I don't know really, is my honest answer, because we don't know. Yeah, we've seen that Paul's sad and stuff like that when he was on the Welcome to Wrexham documentary. He said that Parky doesn't trust him, but do we know the full story? Why doesn't he trust him? You're never going to know the full story unless Paul brings out another autobiography and reveals it. But I think somebody said that when Parky wished Paul Mullin good luck, if you look back at when Parky's talking about Paul, he never ever refers to him as Paul. He always refers to him as Mullin or Mulls or whatever. But at this, it was a bit weird, because when he was wishing him good luck, he said, "Good luck. I wish Paul luck."
I never noticed that.
So it's like, is that him saying, that's it now, Paul, we're, even though you are out on loan, you're probably never going to play for Wrexham again. Not in a horror, that sounds really awful. You'd never play for Wrexham again. It's like, unfortunately, but you don't know, though. You don't know what he's going to be like at Wigan. He might actually absolutely smash it. But Sam Dalby did at Dundee United. And he was offered a contract to come back.
Yeah, and he didn't
Not
want
a
it.
contract, sorry, because he already had a contract.
Yeah.
But he was offered to come back to the team, and he refused it. So
No, he was offered a contract extension.
oh, right, but
basically.
he refused it.
Yeah.
That was back in January.
Yeah.
So you don't know whether Paul Mullin's going to go to Wigan, absolutely smash it at Wigan.
But then is that his level?
And
League
go,
One.
do you know what? I'm getting game time here. I'm not guaranteed to get game time again when I go back to Wrexham. So why not stay here? I'm close to home. I'm getting the game time. I'm scoring goals. I'm doing what I love.
Yeah.
So he might, they might say it might be the same thing. But you don't know whether, like you said in another episode that we did, you said that sometimes they have a clause in their contract, a callback clause, but also, on the other hand, they may have a gentleman's agreement to say...
Well, I'll stop you there because I'll tell you about that. So,
okay.
The Wigan have no option to buy. So there is, in a loan agreement, there is... as part of a loan agreement, there would be a option to buy at the end. So Wigan would then say, right, let's take him on loan, look at him. Yes, we'll have him. They don't have an option to buy in the loan deal.
Why is that?
Because we want him back.
Oh, okay, that's a good sign there.
Well, we want, but you don't know.
We want him back to sell.
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, so there's not. We want him back to go and chuck him out on the pitch again. Potentially, we want him back to sell him. We don't know, but there is no option to buy for Wigan. There is also a January recall option in that deal as well. So you don't really know. Will he ever play for us to get again? We just don't know. I'm sure that there are lots of kids and adults, I suppose, out there hoping that he does come back and he's better than ever. I think if you think with your head as opposed to your heart a little bit, I think you could probably... I think you're probably, if you're honest with yourself, he's probably never going to play for us again. But I sort of said last week, I was a little bit ambivalent to the whole thing because it had dragged on for so long. And I think it was so inevitable that it was going to happen. And even though I was ambivalent to the whole situation, and it was just like an expectant, I was expecting it to happen. When it did happen, and I saw him in that Wigan shirt, I didn't like it.
It was horrendous.
I didn't like it at all.
He looked so sad, I think.
I don't know. I don't know. Look, it just wasn't very nice. And look, he will forever be a club legend, regardless of whether he never plays for us again or he comes back and he does. That's not really relevant. He will always be a club legend.
Yeah.
Always. For what he's done to get us out of, he didn't do it on his own, but for the goals that he scored to get us out of the National League after so long, and for what he did for us in League Two as well. Not so much in League One, as we're well aware, but he will always be a club legend. He is in the top 10 all-time goal scorers for the club. He will forever be a club legend, and all the fans are truly thankful for what he's done. But I can't help but think that is the end of his journey with Wrexham. I think for me, and it is hard to take, but unfortunately, that's football. Parky did say that he's been brilliant for us. He's a great lad and he has made an outstanding contribution for us, but he just needs to get going again after the disrupted season he had last season. He has got 2 years left on his contract with us, and we will be watching him closely while he is at Wigan this season. I think maybe people read a little bit too much into that, going, "Oh, we're gonna be watching him closely. We're definitely getting him back." For me, that's a very standard
media trained answer.
Player gone out on loan statement.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to be keeping a close. Of course you are. He's still your player,
and
he's still contracted to the club. So if he's scoring 4 a week, for the next 3 months, and he's in the 30s in by December, of course you're going to bring him back, and you're going to try and integrate him back in the team. it's just that's a very standard. I wouldn't read too much into that Phil Parkinson comment that he made, if I'm completely honest. But Paul, absolute legend, and couldn't, never spoke to the guy, but if I did, could not thank him enough for the service he's put in at the club. It is sad to see him go, but I'm just used to it now. It's years and years and years. You move on. Aaron Hayden was my favourite player for a couple of years, and it was sad when he went, but you go, probably the right thing to happen, and you move on and you get someone better, and it's just the way it is, and you've just got to deal with that. And if you can't deal with it, then
football's not for you.
You're going to be very sad every season, unfortunately. So, if we do stay in the Championship for the next 10 years, then you might see a smaller turnover of player, because you're not going up a level that you need to recycle the players and get a better calibre of player in. So you might sign somebody now who might spend the next 5 years at the club, because every season we're into the Championship again, potentially. So you might have players who are with us for a long time from now on. But over the last few years, obviously we've gone up, and we've gone up again, and we've gone up again. And so holding on to players is very sparse and very few and far between, unfortunately. So good luck, Paul. All the best to you. My ideal scenario is you go and smash it, you come back and you get back in the team. That's from, hand on heart, that's my ideal scenario. But unfortunately, I just can't see that happening, if I'm completely honest. I just can't, and I wish I was wrong, but I just can't.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Welcome to Wrexham.
So it was episode 8. It was the last episode. So it was season finale. It was all right. For me, I've enjoyed certain aspects of the episodes that have aired over the last however many weeks. But I don't know. Has it had its day?
Ooh, jeez, I wasn't expecting you to say that.
I love it. I love obviously, when we were watching the episode on, I'll probably get absolutely lashed for saying that. But
yeah, probably. None more so than me when we finish recording. I thought. Can I just say, you can have your say, but just to interject, I thought episode 8 was the best episode of not just of this season, but of any season of Welcome to Wrexham. Okay. So that's my penny's worth. You can continue talking.
Not sure what to say now. No, I enjoyed it, especially when they had the last game. Don't lean towards me aggressively.
I'm just having a drink.
Yeah, so they had the last game, the game where we promoted, and even though I knew what was going to happen, we all knew what was going to happen, I felt sick. I felt really nervous watching it, and then obviously everyone ran on the pitch. But no, like I said, I'm not gonna lie and say, oh yeah, I loved every single episode. I thought they were all brilliantly put together and da 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 da. I'm not gonna lie. I liked.
You don't need to lie, but my point is, we're just talking about episode 8 here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. I liked aspects of other episodes. I liked aspects of episode 8.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You seem very. You seem very down on it.
No. I think what it is I'm annoyed. If I'm honest, I'm annoyed about it, because you see all these other podcasts and stuff like that being on the thing, and we don't get a chance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it makes me angry.
I think you need to let that go.
I do need to let it go.
Because I feel from hearing what you're saying now, And, you know, I do feel like it's spoiling your enjoyment of the documentary, that you're annoyed that that other podcasts like ourselves and like maybe Racecourse Ramble and perhaps, you know, the Wrexham Roundup, perhaps that you know, they don't feature as much as Fearless and Rob
They
Bryan
don't feature
Red.
at all.
No, they don't feature at all compared to Fear. But that for me, that doesn't spoil my enjoyment of it, and I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm not bothered that we don't get a chance to be in that documentary.
I just think it's validation for all the hard work that you put in, that people are actually noticing you. That's what it is for me.
Do you know what's validation for me? Is all the lovely people who actually write in and take the time to listen to this podcast, and, you know, and the friends that we've built up because of the podcast. That's what's important to me. I couldn't care less.
Oh yeah, I love
about being on a documentary. That does not bother me. It is not. Look, if it was to happen, fine. And
this is the person who actually appeared on it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I have. And maybe that's another reason why I'm a little bit more at ease with it. But I'm genuinely not bothered. It does not bother me in the slightest. And like I say, I feel like episode 8 was an absolute triumph in filmmaking. I think if I was a filmmaker and I watched that, I would realise that everything I had done before that wasn't good enough, because I felt like episode 8 was perfect in every way. We'll get to the end and why I think that in a bit, but obviously it focused on the last the last 5 games of the season. So we had the Wigan game, as we've just mentioned, and that was very much sort of got to the end of that game, and it was very much a we've thrown this away moment, wasn't it, Wigan? You know, we were driving home in the car going, we've thrown this away, 100%. And then we had Bristol Rovers, where that was very much we've definitely thrown this away moment.
Yeah.
When we dropped to third, and it sort of gives you, it's sort of like PTSD, isn't it? Where you get flashbacks to these moments, going, do you know what? I forgot that we'd drawn away at Wigan and then come home and drawn against Bristol Rovers. And not only that, I forgot that was so close to the end of the season and that we dropped to third at that moment with 3 games to go. And you go, how did we get promoted with a game to spare when we were in this scenario? And it was we
did a Wrexham.
Well, they mentioned doing a Wrexham, didn't they? You know,
doing a Wrexham, yeah.
Where we've thrown it away in the past, and you know it was very good the way that I think it was Tim who said it. You know, maybe we need to change the sort of mentality or the meaning of what doing a Wrexham is now. And doing a Wrexham means
more positive, back
to back, as opposed to doing a Wrexham being throwing it away right at the death. Do you know what I mean? I do apologise as well. I sort of ruined an element of the documentary last week, because obviously Bryn, the goalkeeper who was at Wrexham, we talked about it last week, and I did say, sorry
to break it to you guys.
Sorry to break it to everyone, but Bryn actually got released by Wrexham. And then when he was on the documentary getting released, I was like, I don't know if I felt like I ruined it for people last week, so I do apologise for that.
No, I think it was good, because I think it prepared people, because I think seeing things like that,
I just felt bad though that I'd already broke the news. Yeah,
I felt so gutted for him. Even though obviously you mentioned that last week, watching it was like, oh, poor, it's just bless him.
Yeah,
you know, he worked so hard. But yeah, so that was that. But the other guy who the documentary had focused on was Tom Kelly, and he got a professional contract.
Definite first teamer.
You did say that, to be fair. So
future first teamer Tom Kelly.
It's documented it down.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've watched him play a few times, and he looks. Sometimes you see a player, be it a professional player in a team lower down the leagues, or or a younger player who's playing in a youth setup, whatever it might be. There are times when you watch players and you go,
First team.
He's good.
Yeah,
he's good. He is, and he's not going to be in this league for long. He's not going to be at this team for long. He's going to make the next step up to the, and you do see it all the time. And he is somebody 100% that I see that he is going to. I think he's going to make strides.
How old is he?
I don't know how old Tom. I'm guessing he's 18.
And how old do you have to be to? Does it, because now he's got a professional contract, does that mean that he could play on the first team?
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter. So you could be, if you're an absolute wonder kid and you are 15, you could play for the first team. There's no laws
as
surrounding.
As long as you've got a professional contract and all the licenses and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what I think the Premier League record is
6.
No. 15 or 16, I think, to make a Premier League appearance.
16, I think, wasn't it? I'm sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who it is anymore because it changed quite a bit over the last few years. But yeah, so there's no rules. If you're good enough, you're good enough. It doesn't matter about your age.
So watch this space. Tom Kelly might be.
I think he's. Hopefully the progression of the team doesn't get away from him, in the sense of, and for a lot of the young players, the team might have got away from them already, if you get me, because, if we were still in League Two, Tom Kelly might be playing next season. Do you know what I mean? But we've gone up 2 levels from that. So I don't know. I still feel he's a very good player, and it is somebody that we are going to see in the first team at some point. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. We had Humphrey's Marathon. Yeah. Bloody nips, I'm going to call it. Bloody nips.
Oh, bless him.
I have never seen somebody's nipples bleed that badly.
I never knew that was an actual thing.
I knew about chafage. I knew there was chafing when you ran, and I know a lot of runners put plasters over their nipples when they run. I don't feel. Does it feel weird saying the word nipples?
No,
it's a strange word.
It's not a swear word.
No,
you're
it's
not going to get censored.
No. It just feels like a strange word. Nipples.
Humphrey and nipple in the same sentence.
Yeah, I know. So, look, congratulations to Humphrey. All the money that he raised. Rob was there to sort of welcome him over the finish line. He didn't die. So that's a huge positive, I think, for him.
Guys from the Wrexham mining project were there as well.
Yes,
which was I think he said he was happier to see them than he was Rob, because obviously it was for them guys that he was doing it for, really. Yeah.
So, look, we had the Blackpool game.
Oh my God! I said to you, didn't I? I said that weekend was amazing.
You did.
It's the best weekend we've had in such a long time.
It was. The away weekend we had at Blackpool was fantastic. We loved every minute of it. I loved it. Siân loved it. Our son loved it. The game was great. And it was an amazing performance. Which pushed us on and got us back on track after 2 draws, and to see it back again. My dad made a little sneaky appearance in the corner, didn't he?
We did. We were like right next to him. Why weren't we there?
I know. We did have to pause it. But we saw him there. We recognised the guy who was celebrating right in front of the camera. I was like, he was right by us.
Yeah.
And I paused it, and there's my dad's little face.
My dad's
little face in the corner. So we took a picture and sent that.
I sent it to your mum and dad, and your mum replied back going, "Star of the show."
Yeah.
Not sure whether that was your dad on your mum's phone.
I thought that was my dad who sent that.
No, it was your mum. Yeah,
right,
so
okay.
I'm not sure whether that was your dad or not. Yeah.
And then we obviously had Wycombe losing against Leyton Orient, which set up the Charlton game. Which, yeah.
Jay Rodriguez said that his, I think it was his brother and his dad said, "Oh, we'll put the Wickham game on," and he said, "Don't you dare."
Yeah.
He said, "Get it, don't you dare put it on," because
Yeah.
he just didn't want to know.
We had Archie again, didn't we? He obviously got to
remember that.
meet the players, and he was he was at the most important game of the season, which is amazing for him, having spent so much time in hospital.
I just wish he would have been able to go on the pitch.
Yeah,
he did. I mean, he did obviously at the end. I think.
Yeah, he was
when it was less crowded,
Yeah.
but it would have been such a nice thing for him to run on the pitch. And
yeah.
next season, mate. Next season.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And he got to go in the special people's box.
Special people.
Well,
he was the most special person in that box.
In the special people box.
In the special people box, he was the
100%
specialist person.
Yes, let's go with that. Now we get to the bit where we enter elite tier filmmaking.
Okay, I get you. This was perfection.
It wasn't just this though. It was the whole construction of the episode worked so well, and it led to the end of.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And Rob's speech was just. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know that had happened, and when you see it, it was just. Yeah, it was something that actually, if I'd have heard that at 43,
I would have gone out and smashed in some goals.
I would have gone out and I would have put in a shift as well if I'd have heard that.
Oh, it was a good speech.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
And the way that they did the childhood photos and videos of all of the players sort of intersected with highlights of the game. And I tell you what, right, the minute that nearly did for me was the kick it Sam. That bit just absolutely did for me. That was the best bit in any episode of Welcome to Wrexham since it started.
He was such a little cutie.
When they had a video of Sam as a young kid and they had his dad going, "Kick it, Sam," and then that just so perfectly merging into him scoring against Charlton. I think I nearly collapsed in a puddle in my living room. It was just like, when you watch something and you just go,
it has an impact on you.
Oh, it was huge. It was absolutely massive. It was the one point where I was sort of like, I'm going to go. Completely. It was just it was just the way it was put together, and that one moment was just superb. And I was like, I'm not even sure I can watch this back. I might watch it back on my own. So I don't make a fool of myself.
There was absolutely nothing in this world to be ashamed of.
No,
for crying.
No, I know, but it was just it was a moment that really, really got me. And I think it was perfect. Everything about it was perfect. And, yeah.
Okay, I take everything back that I said at the beginning of this segment. It was the best episode ever. I to be honest, I actually forgot about the speech.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that speech, and it was from the heart. It wasn't, he'd asked for some advice about what he should say. We kind of think it was Tom Brady that was giving him the advice, but we don't know.
I thought it was, because I know they're friends now.
David Beckham?
But no, because it was saying at the bottom what they were. They were saying like NFL star, NBA star. So the NBA star might have been Michael Jordan, might be LeBron James, might be, there's loads of people that could have been. And then the NFL one sort of felt like it could have been Tom Brady. But I don't feel like that speech would have had as much of an impact if they were talking about a co-owner of Birmingham City.
Yeah.
So that led me to sort of think, I don't think it is Tom Brady, but yeah. I don't know.
It was a work of art, and it was so good. It was put together, like Ryan said, putting all the kids and seeing little Ollie Rathbone running and being underestimated because of his size, and kind of overcoming that.
And Max's bit where he said, I told you so. Was it when he said, I told you we'd do it? Or I told you I'd do it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
He said, this is going in, didn't he? He went to the camera and he went, this is going in.
And I told you.
Yeah, and then at the end he goes, told you.
Yeah.
And it's so funny seeing all them, like, them as kids, because you're like, oh my God, like Ollie Rathbone, not changed. Paul Mullin, not really changed.
No, I know. There's a few
Max
that haven't
Cleworth,
changed.
not changed.
No.
So it's, I apologise. I take back everything that I said. It was a great episode. It was very, very well produced, and put together. And I apologise.
Kick it, Sam. Still got me though. Still absolutely gets me.
Kick it, Sam.
Kick it, Sam. Just stop saying it. I'll just cry. Look, we're going to talk about two more teams that we're going to face next season. So the first one, do you want to do the first one or the second one?
I'll do the first one.
Go on then, you crack on.
So we are going to talk about Middlesbrough. They were founded in 1876. They play at the Riverside Stadium. Do you know that song that just came into my head?
I don't know what that song
I'll
is.
have to play it for you after. The Riverside.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, so
is it from the 90s and is it a song by a guitar band?
No.
No, I probably won't know it then,
You
unfortunately.
will. But anyway,
Okay.
So they play at the Riverside Stadium, 165 miles away from us, which is about 2 hours and 40, which is not that bad, actually. They've got a capacity of 34,742. These capacities are just ridiculous.
I know.
They finished 10th in the Championship last season on 64 points. They were 4 points off the playoffs.
It went down to the last day, that did as well. So they could have got in the playoffs on the last day if the results went right, but they didn't. I think they lost on the last day, and so it did go down to the last day though.
They've spent the last 8 seasons in the Championship, and since 1995 they've spent 14 seasons in the Premier League.
Yeah,
that's a long time ago. Have been in the top 2 tiers of English football since 1987.
That is that's mental, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, we have never played them in a league game. Only played them 3 times in our history. 2 FA Cup games and 1 League Cup game. Last game was an FA Cup game, 3rd round, which was in December 1999. Oh,
I was there.
The year before the millennium.
Yeah, I was there. We won that 2-1.
Was that at home or away?
That was at home. They had some big players playing in that game as well. That Gaza played.
Shut up.
Yeah, Gaza was playing for Middlesbrough at the time. He played. Janino.
He was massive in the 90s, wasn't he, Gaza?
Yeah, Janino. Do you remember Janino?
Nope.
He played. Huge. Yeah, we beat them 2-1. Yeah, it was amazing. Amazing game that was.
Did Gaza cry?
I don't think he cried. No.
So we were, Ryan just said we won 2-1 against them. Their nickname is the Borough, obviously.
It's not the Borough.
Borough.
The Borough.
Borough.
Middlesbrough. The Borough.
The Borough. Anyway, the Borough. They play in red. They're a northeast club. I sounded a bit posh then. The Borough.
Yeah.
The Borough.
The Borough.
They're a northeast club. The Newcastle are their main rivals, and obviously Sunderland.
Sunderland as well. Yeah, I think Newcastle's the one. So like when Middlesbrough played Newcastle, they class that as their. But then Newcastle don't particularly consider Middlesbrough as a huge rival. It's
Sunderland.
It's Newcastle Sunderland.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
So we play them away. Oh, this is good now. We can start putting the dates in.
Yeah.
So we play them away on the 25th of October. And we play them at home on the last day of the season, the final day of the season, which is quite nice that we've got, because for the last 2 seasons, the games have been away, the last game of the season.
Yeah.
So
that's quite nice.
And hopefully we will be safe either maybe in the playoffs, maybe in the middle, but we're safe on the last game, so we don't need to worry.
Wherever we are, let's hope it's an exciting game, eh? You know, ideal scenario is we're not playing that final game of the season to
gain something
to save ourselves.
Oh, shut up!
That's hopefully that's not the case. If we were playing the last game of the season to potentially get into the playoffs or something, that'd be great. We'll just have to wait and see how the season goes, I suppose.
Oh my god!
Second team is Hull City, so founded in 1904. They play at the MKM Stadium, which is 148 miles away. About 2.5 hours. It's in sort of Yorkshire-ish, over that way anyway. Capacity of 25,586. They finished 21st in the Championship last season on 49 points, the same as Luton Town, who were relegated. Basically, they only survived on the last day, thanks to goal difference.
See, goal difference is a massive thing, isn't it? When it's coming down to the last day.
I know. They've spent 7 of the last 8 seasons in the Championship. 1 season in League One in 2020-2021, where they were champions. They've had 3 stints in the Premier League, most recently in the 16-17 season. Last time we played them was in League One in the 04-05 season. We drew 2-2 at the racecourse and lost the away game 2-1.
Is that why you decided to wear this shirt?
Or
is that just a coincidence?
It is just a coincidence, actually. That is not why I decided to wear this shirt.
Okay.
Nickname's the Tigers. They play in black and amber. We play them away. Why was that funny?
I don't know, because if you'd say they played in black and amber and their nickname's Tigers, it'd be like obvious, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's wrong with me today, everybody. I've actually been up since 5:30, so I'm a bit...
It's not that early, that, though, is it, really?
Well, it is on a Sunday. It is a ridiculous time to be on a Sunday. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, no worries.
I'm just going to shut up.
We play them away on the 10th of December and at home on the 10th of March. We also face them in the first round of the Carabao Cup on the 12th of August, as we have already mentioned. I just wanted to put something in just about the Championship next season. So Craig Jones on X last week, he put, fun fact, at present, Wrexham's Phil Parkinson will be the oldest manager in the Championship next season at the age of 57, which I've got to be honest, isn't that old for a manager. You do get older managers than that, but hey-ho. He is one of only 4 current bosses in their 50s. Which is mental. There's a huge shift there, isn't there? So younger managers. And the others are Mark Robbins, Nathan Jones, and Gary Rowett. So I just wanted to throw that in because I found that really interesting.
That is quite a good fact, actually. Thank you for that, Craig.
Look, if you do want to support the show, you can do so by buying us a coffee. And the way to do that is visit buymeacoffee.com/me the wife. Any support is much appreciated. It helps us continue to grow and improve the show for you. Talking about improving, I've tried something a little bit different with filming this week. I've got no idea how it's going to work. Let's just call it an evolving process. If you're watching this going, this is horrendous, don't worry, it won't happen next week if that is the case. But we will see how it goes and we'll just keep trying to get better.
If you'd like to contact us, you can do so. You can comment on YouTube. You can click contact the show on the podcast, on the episode that you're watching. Blue Sky, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, or you can email us at methewifeandwrexhamafc@gmail.com.
Nice.
Thank you.
Quick shout out for Dragon Chat. It's a mental health peer support group. They run 2 weekly Zoom calls. One is on a Monday at 8 p.m. and that is for women. The other is on Thursday at 7 p.m. and that is for men. If you want to get on them calls, all the details are down in the description if you're watching us on YouTube. Alternatively, go to the Wrexham AFC website, go to the Communities tab, scroll down to Health and you'll find Dragon Chat in there. Quiz time. So it's a fixtures quiz this week.
Is it anagrams again?
It is not anagrams. We have moved.
Because I would have probably got all of these.
Yeah. So you've had a couple of shocking weeks of anagrams.
Yes, I have.
The week I don't do it, you go, probably would have smashed it this week.
It's easy to say though, isn't it?
It is very easy to say when you're not staring down the barrel of anagrams. So, fixture quiz for you. Are you ready?
Okey-dokey, yeah. As ready as I'll ever be, I suppose.
Okay, question 1. Are you ready?
Yes.
Which team do we play in our first home game of the season?
West Brom.
Well done, Siân.
Thank you.
1 out of 1.
Thank you.
Question 2. Who will we face on our first trip to London next season?
QPR.
QPR. Incorrect.
Millwall!
Oh, how do I feel? Do I feel generous? Or do I feel...
Merculago's wife will come after you if you don't give me a point.
I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
I'll give it to you. Yeah, you can have Millwall because it's not as if I shouted the answer out. We do play... So QPR are one of our first 5 games, but we're playing them at home. So, yes, it is Millwall. Question 3. There is one team that we play twice in the same month next season. Who is it?
Preston North End.
It is Preston North End. We play them on the 6th and the 29th of December. I knew you knew that. That was a little bit of a sympathy question because
You didn't think I'd get the previous 2 right?
I wasn't sure. So I thought I'd throw that one in because I knew you knew that one.
Yes.
Okay. Question 4. We're not at home on New Year's Day.
We're not.
In 2026. But who do we meet on the road on the 1st of January?
Oh, crap. I thought you were going to say, who do we... Oh! Oh! Yeah. Oh, Blackburn Rovers.
It is Blackburn Rovers. Yes.
You threw me a little bit there.
Yeah.
Because you said the 1st of January.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of New Year's Day. And they're the same thing, but it just threw me. I thought...
God.
So, yeah, but Blackburn Rovers.
So this is for 5 out of 5. Some may argue this is the easiest one of the lot. So,
Okay.
you should be getting 5 out of 5 here.
Don't say that. That puts a lot of pressure on me.
Just trying to pile the pressure on.
Yeah.
Question 5.
Yes.
Who are the only team that we play in the month of May next season?
Oh,
It is when you think about it.
Middlesbrough.
It is Middlesbrough. Yay! Well done. 5 out of 5.
Oh my God. It's been a long time coming, that has, guys.
It has. I felt when I was writing it, the quiz, it was sort of semi-easy this week, but I tried to word the question slightly differently to make it
harder,
a little bit harder, even though when you sat and thought about it, I felt like you'd still get them right. So well done.
High 5 for me.
There you go. No, well done. That was very good.
It's all downhill from now.
Yeah, usually when you get 5 out of 5,
I bomb every single week after that for about 70 weeks.
Yeah, you do usually spend the next 2 or 3 months trying to clamber back to 5 out of 5. I don't know if that's because there's something in me going, right, I've got to a point where the quiz is too easy, so then maybe
it's easy for you because you know the answers.
But yeah, I suppose you're right.
It's always easy when you know the answers.
Yes, that is true. Look, thanks very much for joining us this week. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you again next Monday.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye.